by laying eggs. The females lay the eggs in nests, in the rocks or on the ground, and with the heat of their bodies they incubate the eggs until the little chicks hatch. Birds don't have teeth, they have beaks or bills, and these can be very different, depending on what that species of bird feeds on. They breathe with their lungs that are connected to bags full of air called air sacs, and these help birds to fly. Also, nature, which is very clever, has made their bones hollow, so they weigh very little, and because of this, it's much easier for them to fly. The skin of birds is covered with feathers. These protect them from the cold and heat. Birds have 4 limbs. The back ones are legs, and the front ones are wings. Together, the wings and feathers are essential for them to be able to fly. And in some cases, so they can swim. Birds are terrestrial, and most of them can fly. Can you think of any birds that can't fly? That's right. Penguins and ostriches are 2 species of birds that cannot fly. Birds have 4 types of feathers. Those that cover the whole body. Flight feathers in the wings that help them to fly. Down feathers, which cover the chest and belly and maintain the body at a constant temperature. And tail feathers that help guide the bird's body like a rudder on a boat. Birds can be classified into several groups according to what they eat. Herbivores feed on plants and grasses. Their beaks are short and strong and can crush seeds and grains. When they only eat grains, they're called granivores. Carnivorous birds hunt and eat other animals, using their strong, curved beaks. Within the group of carnivores, there are insectivores that only eat insects, and piscivores that only feed on fish. These birds have pointed beaks that are long and sharp to help them catch the fish. Remember, birds that eat fish are called piscivorous. The last group, omnivorous birds, includes pigeons and hens, and they eat almost anything. So remember, birds are oviparous, which means they reproduce by laying eggs. Their mouths are beaks or bills, and they breathe with their lungs. Their skin is covered with feathers, and depending on the food they eat, they can be herbivorous, carnivorous, or omnivorous. So, now you know a lot more about birds.
Did you know that the fastest bird is the peregrine falcon? This bird of prey can reach up to 400 kilometers per hour whilst free-falling. Wow, it's so fast! Poor dove if it were to cross its path. On the other hand, the American woodcock is the slowest bird on the planet, flying at a mere speed of 8 kilometers per hour. Oh, check out its cute little babies. Did you know that the fastest land bird is the ostrich? This huge bird, actually the largest in the world, cannot fly, but it can reach up to 70 kilometers per hour. Running! It's faster than a moped. This tiny hummingbird also holds an impressive record. Besides being the smallest bird, it can also flap its wings 200 times per second, or in other words, 12,000 times in a minute. Incredible! They beat so fast that you can hardly even see them. It looks as if they're floating in the air whilst eating. And did you know that the penguin is the aquatic bird champion? Penguins can't fly, and on land they are rather clumsy, but they are incredible in water. Some species can reach the speed of 36 kilometers per hour. They swim 4 times faster than humans can. But the most impressive penguin is the emperor penguin. A person can dive to the depth of 260 meters, whereas this penguin species dives 535 meters deep and can hold its breath for 5 to 18 minutes. It's a bird. It has a beak and feathers, but it seems as if it wants to be a fish. Now we have learnt a few records and fascinating facts about birds. The truth is, it is beautiful observing them fly in the sky or swim in the sea. But as we are always reminding you in Happy Learning, so as to continue enjoying them, we must look after our environment. Do not contaminate the air, the sky, the rivers and seas. We must take care of our nature and all that is around us. And like that, we will be able to live in a happier world.
Look how beautiful and elegant they are. Being able to fly like them must be super fun, right? Eagles are birds that belong to the family of birds of prey and are also carnivores. So they use their strong claws and powerful, sharp beaks to hunt and feed. Like this one, which has just caught a fish. The eagles can see and locate their prey from a very long distance because they have excellent vision. They see 4 times better than us human beings. And they also see more colours. It's crazy.
Wow.
Their favourite prey are fish, snakes and rabbits. But they are so strong they can even hunt antelopes and monkeys. Poor thing. Eagles are somewhat solitary birds. During the first 4 years of life, they almost live in solitude. They prefer to go out on their own. But when they grow up and are of breeding age, they look for a partner. And when they find one, they spend the rest of their lives together. In doing so, the males and females work together, building their nests and also caring for their chicks. Eagles live in equality, as all human beings should do. They are also symbols of power and freedom. Some countries have used them for their flags. And the truth is, I am not surprised, because they are the strongest birds and are at the top of the food chain. Which is very unfortunate for this poor fox. Although they do not have predators, many eagles are in danger of extinction. The reason is the same as always: the loss of their habitats due to deforestation, the absence of food, and in some places, the activity of hunters. Fortunately, many countries are becoming more aware of this, and there are conservation programs that are helping keep eagles alive. That's why we at Happy Learning are asking you to help them, that you take care of nature and pollute as little as possible, and that you recycle everything you possibly can. There is room for everyone on our planet. Yes, if we make a little effort, people, animals and plants can all live together and be very happy on this beautiful and wonderful planet.
Why can parrots talk? Parrots are incredible birds. Listen.
Hello, happy friends. Hello, happy friends.
Wow, this parrot is talking to us. But no, parrots don't actually talk, but they imitate lots of sounds almost perfectly, including the human voice.
I like it. I like it.
They achieve this because of their long round tongue and to a vocal organ they have called syrinx. Other birds, like quaker birds or rooks, are also able to imitate a human voice. But this skill has nothing to do with the act of speaking. It's only an imitation of sounds. Another fun fact is that parrots are monogamous. They form couples which last all their lives. They are very romantic. They are also the only birds to eat with their claws. They usually pick up the food with one of their claws, and with it, they bring it to their beaks to eat it. The truth is that parrots are amazing birds, don't you think?
Animal food chain, also known as the trophic pyramid. Every living thing needs energy in order to live. And this energy is found in the food they eat. Living creatures are situated on various levels of the food chain, depending on what they eat. Fruit and vegetables are at the bottom of the trophic pyramid. These are called primary producers, as they can make their own food. They do this through a process called photosynthesis, which is a combination of the sun's energy with both water and nutrients obtained from the soil. On the pyramid's second level are the consumers. The consumers are all living things which feed on other living things. They are divided into 3 groups. The first is dedicated to the primary consumers. These are the herbivores, which are animals that eat directly from the producers, like these zebras or these cows. The secondary consumers are animals which feed on other animals. They are carnivorous and they eat meat, such as these wolves, this eagle, or this shark. Omnivores are also secondary consumers. Do you remember what they are? They are animals which eat both meat and plants, like these pigs, these bears, or even us, human beings. The last of the consumer groups is that of the tertiary consumers. In this group, we find the scavengers, like vultures which feed on dead animals, which are in a state of decomposition. Yuck! That is really disgusting, don't you think? After the consumers, the third level in the food chain is dedicated to decomposers. The decomposers are bacteria and mushrooms which are in charge of consuming animal remains. The functions of the decomposers is really important as they turn organic waste into inorganic material, creating new energy in the form of nutrient-rich soil. This then completes the cycle of life, as the producers in the pyramid's first level benefit from it, and so the whole new food chain starts. The truth is, nature is very intelligent, and therefore we must protect it, as well as respect it tremendously, including all its inhabitants, for as you have just witnessed, all of them, no matter how insignificant they may seem.
Hello happy friends, are you ready to learn? I'm Sarah and today we're going to have a Q&A game that will fly high up in the sky because today it's going to be about birds. Let's start. In terms of reproduction, Do you know what birds are like? Viviparous, oviparous, oviviviparous, or asexual? Exactly! Birds are oviparous. That means that they reproduce through eggs. Let's get to know a little more about these animals' reproduction. Female birds lay eggs in nests, rocks, or the floor itself, and incubate the eggs with their body heat until these become chicks. Did you know that laying hens in farms hold the world record of laying eggs? They are able to lay 300 a year. That's amazing! So, if laying hens can live up to 10 years, 10 times 300 is 3,000. Laying hens lay up to 3,000 eggs in a lifetime. That's so much! Now let's tackle the next question. Do you know how birds breathe? Through their lungs, through their gills, through their skin and lungs, or through their skin pores when they're flying? Of course, birds breathe through their lungs. And they have two super cool fun facts. Listen carefully to the explanation. Birds breathe through their lungs. These are linked to some snacks called aerial sacs, which fill up with air and allow the birds to fly. Another nature fun fact is that birds' bones are hollow, so they are very light in weight and make flying easier. The truth is that nature is marvellous and so savvy, don't you think? Let's do the last question. How can we know what type of diet a bird has by only looking at them? Through their beak, through their legs, through their size, or through their head? Of course, it's logical. We know what type of diet birds have because of their beaks. But do you know how many beaks there are? If we look closely, carnivore birds have strong and curved beaks, and thanks to them, they are able to eat meat and hunt their prey. Within the carnivores, we have those which are piscivorous, who eat fish. They capture them with their long and pointed beaks. Herbivore and carnivorous birds feed from vegetables and grains. Their beaks are short and strong, and with it, they grind the seeds and herbs they feed from. This parrot's beak, for example, is able to break some dried fruit's shells. And lastly, presenting the hummingbird, the smallest bird on Earth. Because it feeds from the nectar in flowers, it has a very long and sharp beak. And this way, it can reach its nectar without breaking the flower. It's a very delicate bird. Well, happy friends, as I always say, I hope you've answered all of the questions correctly. But if you haven't, it's okay, because what's important is that you've learnt lots of things and that you've had lots of fun. Goodbye, happy friends. See you next time. I hope you're always ready to learn. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to Happy Learning TV. Goodbye.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
Hello friends! Welcome to a new Happy Learning video. Today, we're going to get to know a system in our body which without, it would be impossible to live. Today, we're going to get to know the excretory system. The excretory system is formed by the urinary system and by the sweat glands. But before we get to know these parts better, we need to know that the excretory system's most important mission is to expel waste substances from our bodies. When we feed, our organism benefits from nutrients and food. But at the same time, it also produces substances which are harmful for our health. And they need to be expelled, and so they don't make us ill. This is what the excretory system is in charge of. As we already know, the excretory system is made up of the urinary system, which produces and expels urine, and by the sweat glands, which produce sweat. Do you want to get to know them better? You do? Let's go! The urinary system is formed by the following organs: kidneys, urethras, bladder, and urethra. The kidneys are in charge of filtering blood to eliminate waste substances which are in it. These harmful substances, joined with water we drink, form urine. The ureters are two tubes which come from the kidneys and take urine to the bladder. The bladder is a bag where urine is stored. When the bladder is very full, we feel like we need to go to the bathroom. And it's in this moment when we expel the urine through the urethra, which is the last part of the urinary system. The sweat glands regulate our body temperature as a principal function, and for this, they produce sweat. When it is very hot or we exercise, our body temperature increases and our organism produces sweat. So our body cools down and makes our body temperature decrease. But sweat doesn't only lower our body temperature. Being made up fundamentally from water and waste substances, it also has an excretory function. When we sweat, the sweat brings to exterior a lot of waste substances. Sweat glands are distributed all around our body, and sweat comes out through some very small holes in our skin, called pores. Well, now we've got to know the excretory system better. But before I say goodbye, I want to tell you something very important that you need to know. As you've verified, water is fundamental for the excretory system. Without water, the kidneys, for example, wouldn't work. So now you know that we need to drink lots of water. It's the best drink for your body.
Great! You've completed the video. Now continue the route with the reading card, the video game, and the activity.
Today we're going to learn about the digestive system and digestion. So that our body can make the most of the food we eat, it must first transform itself into a simple substance called nutrients. These nutrients are then transported by our blood around our body to be used and converted into energy. This food transformation process is called digestion and is done in the digestive system. The digestive system is a very long tube through which the food travels and is made up of the following parts. The mouth, this is where the digestive journey begins. The teeth both chop and grind up the food we eat. Once it has been made into a ball, it is pushed down the food pipe to the pharynx. The pharynx is a cavity which shares the digestive system with the respiratory system. It is from the pharynx that the food goes to the esophagus. The esophagus is a soft muscular tube that moves food further down to the stomach. The stomach is a widening of the digestive tube. It creates a movement which allows food with a mixture of gastric fluids. Once this process has been done, it then travels to the small intestine. The small intestine is called small because of its width, not its length. It is actually a lot longer than the large intestine, measuring up to 7 meters in length, almost as wide as a football goal from post to post. Well, it is here in the small intestine where the food digestion journey ends. Now it is up to fluid processes by 2 glands, the liver and the pancreas, to finalize the transformation from foods to nutrients. Once the food is converted into nutrients, they then traverse the small intestine's walls and filter into our blood, where they are then made good use of by all of our body cells. But what happens to the food that our body doesn't need? All that, such as fiber, for example, is transferred into the large intestine. The large intestine is a thick tube which accumulates substances which our organism cannot digest, and it is where water from these substances is absorbed. The substances then form fecal matter, or what we call poop, and it comes out of the anus. It sounds a little bit disgusting, but that's how our body works. Anyway, friends, I hope you found the digestive system and digestion as interesting as I did.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
We're going to learn about the circulatory system of the human body. The main function of the circulatory system is to carry through the blood the nutrients to the cells of our body. It is formed by the heart, arteries and veins, and its proper functioning is essential for us to have good health. I have a curiosity. Do you know how much all of the arteries and veins would measure together, put in single file? They would measure 96,000 kilometers, which would be equivalent to almost 2.5 laps of the Earth. It's incredible, right? The heart has the main role in making sure that the blood travels around the body. With its 100,000 pulsations per day, it ensures that blood circulates throughout our body, allowing it to distribute oxygen and nutrients into our cells. We're going to start a journey through the circulatory system so we can understand it much better. The journey of blood begins in the heart. With the pulsations of the heart, the blood comes out through one of the greatest highways of the circulatory system, called the aorta. From that moment, blood flows through our body through many veins. During this trip, the blood is delivering oxygen and nutrients to the cells through the capillaries. It reaches the neck, head, and brain through one side. From there, the blood continues to flow into our arms, then through the aorta, around the thorax and abdomen, and finally reaching both of our legs. As this trip is circular, that is to say, it has no end, the blood starts the trip back to the heart to regain nutrients and oxygen. The blood that returns from the lower part of the body flows through the inferior vena cava. The one that returns from the arms and head travels through the superior vena cava. All that blood reaches the lungs, where it gets oxygenated and returns back to the heart. There, the journey starts again. The truth is that it is incredible that blood is permanently traveling inside our body. Don't you think? Well, now you know a little bit more about the circulatory system. But before saying goodbye, we want to remind you that for our body to work well, we have to do a lot of physical exercise and have a balanced diet. You have to eat vegetables, fruit and fish, and reduce eating sugar and sweets as much as you can. And of course, spend less time sitting in front of the TV or the computer. So now you all know. Right, now everyone, go to run and jump.
Great! You've completed the video. Now continue the route with the reading card, the video game, and the activity.
We're going to learn about the human musculoskeletal system. It's what lets us move around. The musculoskeletal system is made up of two systems, the muscular and skeletal systems. The muscular system is the active part of the musculoskeletal system. Muscles are between our bones and skin, and they are joined to our bones through tendons. They are elastic organs that can be lengthened or shortened, causing some body part movements. Us humans have approximately 630 muscles. According to the movements that they make, we can differentiate voluntary and involuntary muscles. Voluntary muscles move only when we want them to. And involuntary muscles move without us realising, like our heart or stomach, that are always in movement. The skeletal system is made up of all bones and cartilage. The skeleton gives us our shape that differentiates us from other living things and allows us to walk, run, or jump. Our body has 206 bones, and each one of them has their own name. Some of them are skull, that protects our brain, the spine, that maintains us stable and upright, the jaw allows us to move our mouths to chew food, ribs, that protect our heart or lungs, and the femur, the longest bone in the human body and is found in our legs. Bones are joined with each other by joints. They are divided into 3 groups, depending on their level of mobility. Immobile or fixed joints don't have any mobility, like the ones that join our skull. Semi-mobile joints do have some mobility, but not a lot, like vertebrae in our backs. Mobile joints have great mobility, like our elbow or knee. Now we've got to know a little more about our musculoskeletal system. Now we need to do plenty of physical exercise to make it work brilliantly and maintain ourselves really healthy.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
We're going to learn all about the nervous system. We all know that humans have 5 senses. Sight, which is the ability to see through our eyes. Taste, which is what we use to enjoy different flavors. Smell, which allows us to smell the wonderful senses in flowers. Hearing, which we use to listen to our favorite music. And touch, which is how we feel tickles or soft caresses through our skin. Well, our nervous system is what receives all the information captured by these senses, interprets it, and responds to each situation. The nervous system has special cells called neurons, and it is divided into 2 parts, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is made up of the skull and the spinal cord. The skull is where the brain is located, as well as the cerebellum and the brain stem. The brain occupies the largest part of the skull and is in charge of controlling our memory, emotions, and voluntary actions, such as reading, writing, or jumping. The cerebellum also coordinates our balance, as well as our movements. It is because of the cerebellum that we are not constantly falling down. Thank you, cerebellum. The brain stem links the brain to the spinal cord and controls the automatic actions such as our heartbeat or the blinking of our eye, which happens without us even realizing it. The spinal cord is another part of our central nervous system. It is within our spine and it almost looks like a highway connecting the brain to all the body's nerves. The spinal cord is responsible for all the reflexes, like when you touch something hot. We pull our hand away instinctively, without even thinking. The peripheral nervous system is a set of nerves which travels around our body and is divided into two major parts: sensory nerves and musculoskeletal system. The sensory nerves carry information received by the five senses to the brain. The musculoskeletal system transmits the brain's responses, allowing the muscles to perform. So, if we were to fall in the water, for example, the automatic system would send a message to our muscles, ordering us to swim and get out of the water. Thank goodness, because otherwise we would drown. Well, now you know about the nervous system. It's really interesting, isn't it?
Great! You've completed the video. Now continue the route with the reading card, the video game, and the activity.
We're going to learn about the female and male reproduction system. When we are born, there are a series of characteristics which clearly differentiate a woman from a man's body. These are the sexual organs. As we grow, our bodies change, and it is easier to tell us apart from a girl and a boy. But when we're little, when we're still babies, it isn't so easy to tell the difference at a simple glance, don't you think? So, let's learn a little bit more about both the female and the male reproduction system. The female reproduction system is made up of various organs, with a majority located inside the lady's interior. These organs are the ovaries, the fallopian tube, the uterus, the vagina, and the vulva. The ovaries are a pair of tiny glands where the female sexual cell, known as the ova, is formed and then matures. This occurs during puberty, which is when the human being develops and we stop being children and become adults. The fallopian tube are two long narrow tubes connecting the ovaries with the uterus. The uterus is a hollow muscular organ where babies develop during pregnancy. The vagina is an elastic muscular tube connecting the uterus to the exterior and is also where the babies come out during birth. The vulva is the only external organ of the female reproduction system, and it protects the entrance of the vagina. Well, now we all know about the female reproduction system. Now, let's look at the male one. The testicles, the vas deferens, the seminal vesicle, the penis, and the urethra. The organs of the male reproduction system are in the interior as well as on the exterior of the man's body. The penis is an external muscular organ and is where the urethra is located, and the urethra is a tube which expulses both urine and semen onto the exterior. Just in case you didn't know, semen is a mixture of liquid seminal and sperm. The testicles are two organs found on the exterior of the body. During puberty, male sex organs called testosterone start to produce. The vas deferens communicates the testicles with the urethra and is found within the body. The seminal vesicle produces a fluid called liquid seminal, which transports the sperm. Well, now you know the female and male reproduction systems, fundamental for human beings to reproduce. Next, we can learn more about reproduction in the video dedicated to that topic. Did you find it interesting? I hope so. Goodbye, friends.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
Hello friends, welcome to a new Happy Learning video. Shh, listen. What's that? It sounds like a piano. What's that? That's laughter. Someone's being tickled. What's that? Is it an elephant? Or a trumpet that's a bit out of tune? Do you know what all these things have in common? Of course, they're sounds. And today, we're going to find out lots of amazing things about it, about sound. What is sound? Sound is a sensation produced in the ear from the vibrations of something. But do you know what a vibration is? A vibration is a very fast movement of something. That is to say, something that's moving many, many times per second. Look at the surface of this drum when it's being hit. It vibrates, and that vibration travels through the air in the form of waves until it reaches our ears. It is like when we throw a stone in the water. When the stone enters the water, it forms circles around the area. They are ripples. We see them because the water moves. And all the sounds we hear, Leo, are waves produced by vibrations. Where are you? Vibrations that hit the air, just like the stone entering the water. Leo? And when the sound hits the air, it also makes the air move, forming waves. Oh, there you are. But as the air is transparent, we don't see it. Look at how the vibrations of the strings of a guitar forms waves, travel through the air. And did you know that these waves can travel through different things by many mediums? Yes, they can travel through air, through water, or through solid things like metal or wood. The truth is that sound waves can travel a long way, can't they? Well, we now know how sound is produced. But how do we humans hear it? We hear it thanks to our hearing. The ear is the organ in our body that is trained to perceive sound. Sound waves enter through it, so we can hear. It's a good thing we have ears because I love hearing music. Now, let's review. Sound is a sensation produced in the ear when it receives sound waves produced by the vibrations of something. It can be the strings of a guitar, the vocal cords of a person, or the vibrations produced by the wings of a mosquito. Ah, how annoying! These vibrations emit waves that travel through air, water, or something solid. And we can perceive these waves through the ear, which is the organ in our body that is able to capture them. Oops! Listen! It's Leo, my dog, who wants to go for a walk. Goodbye, friends! See you in the next video!
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
Hello friends and welcome to a new Happy Learning video. Listen. We all know that sound can sometimes be very unpleasant. Noise. Or very pleasant, like music. Or the sound of the sea, the sound of water. But what makes us like or dislike sound? Does it sound familiar or strange?
中午好。
Well, today we're going to learn just that. Today we're going to get to know the qualities of sound. Yes, that's right. Sound has qualities. Just as children can be blonde or dark, tall or short, large or slim. Each sound has its own characteristics, qualities that distinguish it from others. The thing is that these characteristics are not visible. All, absolutely all sounds have 4 qualities: intensity, pitch, timbre, and duration. The first quality, intensity, is very easy to recognize, as it is what we usually call volume. Yes, exactly. Just like when you turn the TV volume up or down, for instance. Intensity allows us to differentiate between a loud sound and a soft sound. Loud sounds can sometimes be very annoying and can even damage our ears, while soft or quiet sounds can be difficult to hear. Pitch is the quality of the sound that helps us to know whether the sound we hear is high-pitched or low-pitched. For example, the sound of this whistle is very high-pitched, as well as the voice of this opera singer. However, the sound of this engine is very deep, and so is the man's voice.
Welcome.
Getting high-pitched, low-pitched. Another quality of sound is the timbre. The timbre of a sound is what makes us recognize what or who produces it. For example, who would you say is making this sound? Yes, a cow. And this one? Very good! It's the class bell, and it means that it's time for recess. But thanks to the timbre, we also recognize the voices of our loved ones, like Mommy or Daddy's voice, or musical instruments. Listen! That sounds like a recorder. The last quality we're going to learn is the duration. The duration of a sound is what makes it possible to tell if a sound is short or long. The sound a duck makes is short, and the sound a wolf makes is long, isn't it? Now let's review. There are 4 qualities of sound: intensity, pitch, timbre, and duration. Intensity is the volume, and it can be strong or weak. Pitch is what allows us to differentiate a high-pitched sound from a low-pitched sound. Timbre allows us to recognize what or who is producing the sound. This is my cat, Trasto. And duration is what allows us to tell if a sound is short or long. And this sound is my doorbell. It's high-pitched, loud, and long. And it means that they're coming to pick me up to go out and play. Goodbye, friends. Until the next video.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
Hello, happy friends! Are you ready to learn? Today,
we're going to learn about... Wait, just listen. Sounds good, huh? Today, we're going to learn about the sound. For sound to exist, we need three things. We need something or someone to produce a sound, like this guitar, a medium through which it's transmitted, like the air. And then, of course, we need an ear to perceive the sound. When I play my guitar strings, I produce vibrations that travel into our ears through waves, and that's why we hear them. Sound speed depends on the medium it travels through. In solids, like iron, it travels at a great speed. In liquids, like water, it travels a little bit slower. And in gases, like air, it travels the slowest. But if sounds are waves, why do we recognize sounds when we hear them? Why do we recognize our parents' voice when we hear them? Why do we recognize a dog's bark? It's easy peasy. We recognize sounds because of their properties and characteristics. There are three properties: intensity, pitch, and timbre. Intensity lets us identify if a sound is loud or soft. Thanks to the pitch, we can tell if the sounds are high-pitched or low-pitched. By timbre, we can identify what or who is producing the sound. For example, if it's being produced by a flute, a guitar, a dog, or a cat. And lastly, before I say goodbye, here's a fun fact. Do you know what echo is? Echo is when sound waves bump against an obstacle and they change their direction. Shortly after, we can hear the sound repeatedly. So that's an echo. I'm sure you've heard it more than once, but if you haven't, listen up. Happy learning! Happy learning! Happy learning! Happy learning! So cool! Goodbye, happy friends! I hope you're always ready to learn more. Goodbye!
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
Hey friends! Have a look at these images, or rather, listen to all these sounds. Did you recognize the cows mooing? The dog barking? And even the child laughing? Yes, well you've managed that thanks to your ears. And now we're going to learn all about their different parts and how they work. First, we're going to learn about the most important parts of the ear. The outer ear, or auricle, the ear canal, the eardrum, three very little bones known as the hammer, anvil, and stirrup, and then comes the cochlea that is shaped like a snail. And lastly, the auditory nerve. Now it's time to learn how the ear works. We all know that sound is vibrations that produce waves. These waves travel through the air to our ears, where they reach the outer ear or auricle. But they don't stop there. They continue their journey through the ear canal until they reach the eardrum, which is a membrane that is similar to a drum. When the sound waves collide against the drum, it vibrates and makes the hammer, anvil, and stirrup move, allowing the waves to reach the cochlea, which, as we have already told you, is shaped like a snail. The cochlea is where the sound waves transform into electric signals. And it is these electric signals that travel directly to the brain and through the auditory nerve. And it is there in the brain where we finally recognize and understand these sounds. For example, just like this fun and funky music. Hey guys, who's ready to dance? Bye friends!
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
Hello, friends. Welcome to a new Happy Learning video. Have you ever wondered why the television in your house works, the streetlights light up, or a sailboat moves? The answer is very easy, because everything works thanks to something wonderful called energy. Let's get to know it. The first thing we need to know is, what is energy? Well, energy is like a magical force that makes everything work. It gives us light, heat, and the ability to move. And move things. Without energy, everything would be still, silent, and dark. How boring! But how do you get energy? Energy is obtained thanks to renewable energy sources and non-renewable energy sources. Renewable energy sources are like inexhaustible treasures. They never run out. The sun, for example, is an incredible source of energy. It gives us light, heat, and its rays can be converted into electricity, which we can use in our homes. It also makes fruit grow so that we can eat them and produce our own energy. The energy in the sun gives us something called solar energy. Wind is also a renewable source of energy because it never is used up. Thanks to the wind surface can sail this fast. Or these big windmills can generate a lot of electricity. This energy is called aeolic energy. Because Aeolus was the Greek god of the winds. Water also gives us a lot of energy thanks to its movement. The currents of rivers and the force of waterfalls are converted into electrical energy in hydroelectric power plants. This type of energy is called, logically, hydroelectric energy. Non-renewable energy sources are those that are used up. They are exhausted. They are not renewed. Oil, for example, is found underground and is used to make fuels such as gasoline. We use so much oil that there is less and less of it. The same goes for coal or gas, which we use to heat our homes. Although these sources give us a lot of energy, it is important to know that they are running out and that they are really polluting our planet. The truth is that they are not very good. Well, now we know what energy and renewable energy sources are, as well as non-renewable one. But before we say goodbye, we want to tell you that you have to take care of our planet. That renewable energies are the environment's best friend, and we have to save electricity and water to pollute less. If each one of us respects and takes care of everything that surrounds us, we will live in a healthier and happier world. Goodbye, friends. Until the next video.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
Hello everybody, in this video we're going to learn about our friends the birds. They're so diverse and there are so many colours and shapes, it's fun to learn about them. For example, this tiny little hummingbird doesn't look anything like this huge ostrich, and these penguins don't look